Right, guys, we've got Stride 360 with us today. So we've got Simone, Louis, and Mike. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
So they are. Would you class yourself as an alternative provision? Is that what we say for
Yeah.
Stride 360?
Yeah.
So Stride 360 is an alternative provision that I heard about a couple of months ago. I've got a couple of children from Drawing and Talking that attend. Went on the website. I've just told the guys as well that been on the website and really resonated with what they're trying to achieve and kind of the backstory. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So who should we start with?
I think it's fair to start with Mike, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been here a while.
Start
Mike.
Should we start with you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm happy to start.
Yeah.
So I suppose it kind of makes sense to go back to a bit of my childhood, which would then lead to where my passions come from and how we then get onto Stride. So I grew up in London and I was in and out of foster care from the age, I think, around 4, as far as I kind of really remember, due to my parents taking drugs, selling drugs, that criminal lifestyle. Moved around quite a lot. Just found childhood really a massive struggle. Couldn't control my own emotions because of things that I was seeing and things that were happening, kind of domestic violence and all the kind of aces really. And as a result of that, I just couldn't manage my own emotions. Struggled with school. You know, my parents certainly weren't reading or helping with homework or any of those kind of things. I struggled in all aspects, kind of making friends, dealing with the workload of school. I hated it. I was just kind of an angry child, a lost child. And then I had an opportunity to go to Spain through foster care, through that foster system. I was one of the first children in London to go abroad being in foster care. And I used that as an opportunity to stop stealing. I've been part of gangs. I've been taught to steal motorbikes, chased by police in cars, stolen cars at 4 a.m. at 11, 12 years old. So I used it as an opportunity to have just a fresh start. I knew what I was doing was wrong. You know, my mum used to make me steal our shopping from Iceland on a weekly basis, otherwise we didn't eat. So being a thief was just kind of a natural thing to me. And I just decided, I know right from wrong. I don't want to be a bad person. I always said to myself, I want to be successful and I want to be a good person. They were kind of my main ambitions, really. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was obsessed with football. So I go to Spain with my foster parents. It was a very tricky thing to do. You get chucked in a public school. It's not like in England where they would help you try and learn the language. I didn't speak a word of Spanish at the time. The Spanish actually were quite racist towards the English, so I experienced a lot of bullying, racism, robberies. They would constantly try and rob you. A lot of the English were isolated out there, and the Spanish, I suppose, the Spanish in the area that we was in Alicante, Torrevieja, didn't have much money, and they had worked out pretty quickly that the English would just hand their money over quite easily because they didn't have anyone to kind of back them, I suppose. You're isolated, and they knew the English had money in order to move to Spain. You've got to have some money, and as a result of that, I was a tiny, malnourished boy. I was an easy target, and they wanted to take my money all the time. And my parents had always taught me to kind of fight and stick up for yourself. So I was constantly fighting, and I was an angry child as well. So I was getting excluded from school a lot. School couldn't understand why I chose to punch someone in the face when I was pinned to the wall and they were trying to rob me. They said, you can't use violence, you need to tell us. Every time I told them, they didn't do anything about it because they would deny it. I was getting excluded from schools quite a lot. I then also struggled at home. My foster parents weren't getting on so well. I always say, like, if you go on holiday with your parents and your parents drinking, even if they get drunk for that week, they're on holiday. But my foster father had a long holiday, so to speak, and kind of became an alcoholic. They separated. I think I was 15. My real father, was murdered when I was 14. He was shot 13 times. So I was just struggling, I suppose. It's the best way to put it. I decided to stay with the dad in Spain, which was very difficult because how do I put it? I'm trying to be in the fairest way. I always say this. I felt like how Harry Potter was treated by Uncle Vernon, and that is kind of how I felt that I was treated. Don't get me wrong, it's turned out good because all the constant chores that I was doing, it's made me a strong person, I suppose. Kind of hard times make a strong person, and I would never change it. And I am grateful for even all the discipline that I received, because I needed that discipline more than anyone. Maybe it was too far in kind of the levels of discipline that I received, but it's definitely made me a stronger person. At 15, my foster father left the country for 2 months. I was kind of I wasn't homeless, because my girlfriend, who I'm still with today, kind of took me in and looked after me. I was offered a job at 15, and I took it. I had no money. My dad was out of the country. I couldn't really eat, I suppose. I took that job. We took the opportunity with both hands. Worked in a bar for 2 years, became manager, and then I decided that I don't want to work in a bar for the rest of my life. I have to come back to England before I turn 18, and social services kind of wipe their hands with you. I knew I'd get a council flat, so I came back just before my 18th, and decided that I needed an education. I did hate education, don't get me wrong, and struggled massively, but I realised in order to be successful, I needed something. So I went to Lewisham College. I studied sports. I then got an apprenticeship with them and did a modern apprenticeship. So I ended up running the football team. I was part of the football academy anyway. I ran the third team, like kind of helped run the gym, those things at 19. And then I went to university very briefly. I went to university for about 2 weeks, realised this is not for me. I'd been coaching for the college for a year, and I went to do sports coaching with a little bit of sports science. And they was teaching me like the history of sport. I remember it being kind of the Romans, how they killed tigers in the Colosseum and stuff. And I was like, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
I came to do some sports coaching and develop my coaching. I was like, I need to get out of it. I then was offered a job at a difficult school in London, in southeast London. And I was offered to come and mentor some of the children that I felt were like me from back in the day. And I took that opportunity with both hands. I became a mentor and kind of helped out in PE, became a PE teacher, head of year, had 2 children. Me and my partner were living in a 1-bedroom flat in London. There was a lot of kids were being stabbed and involved in knife crime, drugs, guns from the school. A couple of kids had been murdered in the school. It was very hard hitting for us. I remember like 2,000 people crying in the hall. There was an incident where someone, for initiation of their gang, had to stab someone, and they kind of stabbed an innocent person, really. He wasn't involved at all in any of the crime. They set him up and stabbed him, killed him, and I just thought, like, that could be my son. He was only 3 or 4 at the time. I had 2 sons, and I was like, I can't bring my kids up here, it's not fair. So I decided to leave that school. I met my girlfriend. I met her in Spain when I was 12, and her family originally are from Swindon. So we spent a Christmas in Swindon, and I realised I can't give my family, my kids, nan, granddad, uncle, aunties, because I don't associate with any of my family. And it was quite an easy decision to come to Swindon, really. So we came here. I got a job at the Ridgeway. I found it very, very easy, I'll be honest, kind of the behaviours that I was used to dealing with. And then I Googled kind of the most difficult school, and St Luke's came up. And I applied for a role there. I ended up being there for about 10 years. I loved it. It was kind of carnage when I first got there, I'll be honest. I remember applying and them saying, we love your resume. We can't hire anyone at the moment. They might be shutting the school down. And that was the kind of state the school was in when I was going. They then got me on board. And I remember we had an inspection very quickly, and there was kids on the roof throwing stones at the inspectors. So that's kind of state the school was in, and it had just been in the paper actually. I think it was for a riot that had occurred after a football match or something like that. So the school had a lot of bad press, and I felt like those were the children that I wanted to help. That was me. I could see myself in them.
You're drawn to them.
I kind of had reflected on how I managed to change, and I had a football coach, Tony Lewis. He was kind of like a youth mentor, so to speak. And he believed in me a lot, and just the way he was with me was very, very impactful. He never shouted and screamed at me, and I was doing a lot of things wrong, and he just used to say to me things like, Mike, you're better than that. I believe that you can do well. You've got a great heart. You can go far. You just got to believe in yourself. And he helped me believe in myself when I didn't believe in myself. So I wanted to be that person for the kids at St Luke's, and I felt like that's what I did for the 10 years I was there. Throughout this time, I'd been playing football semi-professionally for Bromley, Canvey Island, And when I moved to Swindon, Hungerford, Chippenham, and that's where I met Louis. So I met Louis, he was about 18. He was a pro at Forest Green at the time, I think, came on loan to Hungerford. I took him under my wing. And I thought he was a good lad. And I thought there's no point in you driving to Hungerford as well. So I said, you might as well jump in with me. He didn't really get a chance at the time. I kind of felt sorry for you, to be honest. I thought he was a good footballer and he wasn't really given a chance. And we kind of got to know each other through just having a laugh in the car, driving down to football. And in my time at St Luke's, I'd become head of PE and I had a bit of a budget. I got you in to come do some coaching.
Yeah.
In my 10 years at St Luke's, I also created Just for Fun Holiday Club along with Sean Harper. And we needed some coaches. Lou became one of my first coaches as well.
Yep.
In helping, that was instrumental in helping develop Just for Fun at the start. And then, I suppose through all of that, I got you somehow managed to convince you to come back and join St Luke's, didn't I? Because you'd gone off and done, and you can explain that you'd gone and done some stuff working in SMH schools as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He came back, and whilst he was with me at St Luke's, I decided to step down from head of sport. I said to the SLT, I said, I just feel like something's missing, that I've really got a calling to go back to mentoring, because that's how I got into education.
Yeah.
And it's through, I don't know, through you want to develop your own family and grow and progress, and you ask school, what's the best way for me to progress? And they go, okay, do this. And you end up doing things, I suppose, for the school being helpful. You think it's helping the children, don't get me wrong, I was a decent PE teacher or whatever. But actually, I got into the game of teaching by wanting to mentor and make a difference. And I felt like if I took a step back and I said to them, look, I'm happy to go on less money, but I want to mentor, is what I said to them. I don't want to teach PE anymore. And they said, please don't leave, we'll create a role for you. So they put me on the pastoral team. And in that school, when the kids lose their emotions and the control, they do lash out at times. And I was kind of put down to be one of the people that has to physically restrain them. So we was doing that quite a lot. I was like, this isn't really what I want to be doing. I actually want to mentor. You said I could mentor. Never really came to fruition, although they said I could. They were in that moment kind of fighting fire all the time. And I would be rushed upstairs. Mike, quickly top floor, something's happening, can you calm it down? I was very good at de-escalating situations. I never became panicked because of just, I suppose, watching your mum be battered, watching a kid just have a kick-off, it doesn't compare. So in those moments, I'm really calm. And I just dealt with those situations really well. So I understand why they use me to do that, but I still felt like actually being proactive and being able to speak to the children and get to know them, get to know what makes them tick, what they want to do, build their confidence and self-esteem up. It was the way that I wanted to do things. I said to Lou, what's your favourite part about the job? And he said, sometimes there is a big kick-off and afterwards they ask you to separate the kids because, there's only an hour left of school and you actually get to talk to them and get to know them. Throughout my whole time in schools, I've never taken my own lunch break. I've always eaten lunch with the children because I always felt like that's what I went to school for, is to help the children. And I said to Lou, and we both agreed, like, the only way we're going to actually get to mentor the way we want to is if we create a company. So we did some planning, some manifesting, and we created Stride. And at first it was just a mentoring company.
Yeah.
And the school hired us to stay there initially, and then we branched out a little bit and then moved away. And then we also realised actually some of the kids that end up with permanent excluded, where do they go? Like, there's not really anywhere for them to go. And we always had a dream of starting our own little mini school anyway, whether it be a football academy or something. We wanted to kind of help children in some way and have our own mini school. And it was like, AP's the way.
Yeah.
And then wouldn't have been able to do it, to be honest, if me and Lou struggle with the paperwork side of things. We've got our strengths, we've got our weaknesses. And that's where Simone comes in. We met Simone at St Luke's. So she's very talented, hungry, and has got a great skill set, very well organised.
Yeah.
And me and Lou with the ADHD and got all the kind of creative plans and, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. But then how to make that happen and put it on paper is a different story.
Yeah.
So that's where the team comes together.
Yeah.
I suppose it's probably a good point to hand over to Simone.
Yeah, so I've had a very different journey into this whole thing. So I guess the boys have, really. So I somewhat enjoyed school. I've always enjoyed being in that environment. Was quite good in that environment, quite compliant in the school setting. Best secondary school, I had a great amount of teachers that supported me. Enjoyed. I was never that academic, but I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed asking the questions why and answering them, and always loved the idea of people and figuring out the whys of life basically, and whys what and all this. My parents would say that I constantly, when I was growing up, constantly asked questions.
Yeah.
Wanted to figure things out, wanted to problem solve. That was kind of always how I've been. I danced growing up, and so I was just 2, so I've been in that kind of competitive world, competing and getting ready to go into the professional world of dancing. But unfortunately had an injury quite young, so by the age of 16 realised that it was not really going to be my future. And dancing is a complicated world. There's lots of problems that are part of the kind of the dancing world. A lot of anxiety, a lot of eating disorders, all that kind of stuff. So, I've had my fair share of troubles in that sense. But when I stopped dancing, I was like, okay, right, I need to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And decided to go to university to do psychology. So went to University of the Arts London to do psychology of fashion, which is the roguest degree I've ever done in my entire life. Like, why I did it, I have no idea. But got to live in London. I loved fashion industry anyway, so it was kind of made perfect sense to me. And it was a BSc, so it was still a science degree, still psychology, still that basis of, understanding people and the world and how it all works. But when I finished my degree, I didn't want to work in the fashion industry. It just didn't sit right with me. The industry was not what I wanted. I couldn't make enough impact. So I had a really weird kind of career to kind of get me here. I started working in HR for a tech startup, where I learned a lot of my skills that I'm using now, really. How it was a baby when I joined, and it grew to be like a 200 plus company, so it was really part of that kind of whole process. Left the tech startup and moved back to Swindon again. Bit of a fresh start. Didn't really know what I was going to try and attack in Swindon, but I knew I wanted to help people. I knew I wanted to make an impact. I just knew that there was a kind of a calling for me to do something more. And I really enjoyed just working with kids and just working with people. So I joined St. Luke's, which was the maddest start to a educational career. I was at St. Luke's for a year, and I, as a TA, so I tried to figure out why I was at St. Luke's, and the getting into lessons, getting into learning wasn't really what I enjoyed. I enjoyed the bits when they were dysregulated, they came out of a bit like Mike and Lewis. Dysregulated, they came out and they needed someone to chat to and work through their emotions, and I really enjoyed that part of it. But at St. Luke's, a lot of it was putting out fires, and you didn't really get a chance to do a lot of that. And it was quite heavy stuff. St. Luke's, the calibre of students there, they're dealing with so much, and the focus was really getting them back into class again as a TA, and that was something that I struggled with a lot. So I left St. Luke's and moved to Commonweal, and got to experience kind of what a mainstream school looked like. TA there as well, and I worked with some really great kids, both at St. Luke's and at Commonweal, and really enjoy that kind of personal approach that you have with students and getting to know them and working through their struggles. But I was at Commonweal myself because I went to the Commonweal as a student, so it was a real 360 months, a bit of a throwback moment for me. I don't know where I was going with that. The ADHD is catching up with me.
I
What's my train of thought?
Let's go on Commonweal and Ridgeway.
Yeah.
So, both schools I know well.
Yeah, and the staff at Commonweal when I was a student there were the reason why I got on so well at Commonweal. And I wanted to be that adult for the kids that I was there. So I had a tutor group, and the amount they all came to me, and after a very short time, how I became kind of their trusted adult, and I really enjoyed being a child's trusted adult and supporting them through what they were going through, knowing that they maybe in 10 years time when they could look back they go, someone believed in me, So I did an ALSA course whilst I was there, so I became an ALSA. And then Mike and Lewis poached me. And they needed someone to kind of step into the more organisational part of Stride.
So you got the vision and all the creative ideas, and then Simone will be like, hang on a minute, let's look at this logistic.
Yeah,
Put them
exactly.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice blend. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So we started off me just kind of helping them out, doing the bits that needed to be done.
Yeah.
To now me pretty much running
Head of operation.
running the AP. I'm the DSL at Stride as well. So again, as much as the admin side, I love the head operational bit of it. But to be when I get to work with the students and know making an impact, I think it was so important to me to make an impact with what I'm doing. I couldn't do a job that I didn't have a goal.
A goal, yeah. Making a difference.
100%, yeah. I think it's knowing that's the only thing that got me through school.
Yeah.
Yes, I stayed in lessons and I was able to engage in lessons, but I did that because I had people who believed in me.
Yeah.
And people who pushed me on and spurred me on, and now to be able to do that for kids now, I think.
Yeah, like you said, looking back, like if you look back in 10 years and there's that one person, like you said as well, having your coach, it just takes one person that believes in you to make push you forward.
100%, and that I don't do a huge amount of work with the kids anymore, but every day I try to have a positive impact on on a young person.
You kind of impact them from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So, but that sounds good.
Yeah.
You always pop in, and as a senior leadership team, we're always with the kids at some point in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm making sure like our staffing can appropriately look after our students.
Yeah.
Making sure that our venue is appropriate, and the referrals that we're getting in, and making sure that the kids are getting the support they need, or liaising with the council and liaising with other professionals and other agencies to make sure that the kids have got the support they need.
Yeah, that's integral.
And that is because actually when you look at a mainstream school, no fault of their own, the resources are so stretched.
Yeah.
And when I was at Commonweal and I was at St Luke's, you could really see that because they are trying to look after so many kids with not that much to make an impact.
No.
And actually we are very fortunate that we've got a great amount of staff, plus we've only got about 20 kids, so our resources can go quite far. And making sure that we can make impact, so making sure that impact is actually delivered.
Well, that's the thing, and I think, like you said about St Luke's, it's like you're reactive all the time to what's going on and putting out fires, but then you want to be able to take that time to sit down with a child and go, what's going on with you?
Make a difference.
Exactly, make a difference.
What would you need?
Yeah. And ask us questions on what do you need, because there's so much that...
What do you need is so important.
and there's so much that you can do at this age, and so much, and there's... I know that from my childhood, there's so many things that, have happened that, good or bad or whatever, that has impacted me now as an adult. And I had parents who loved me, and I had parents who were there for me, and I had things that, supported me through that. So I want everyone to be able to experience some support and be cared for in whatever capacity it is that they can get it in. If that's, unfortunately they don't have that at home because of circumstances, but they can have it with us.
Yeah, that's right. And behind every behaviour is a communication, trying to communicate something. I've had as a TA, get them out of my classroom, they're doing this, and take them out. Okay, well, what's going on? And then looking at what it is, but they haven't got the time, and sometimes rude, and it's just like, you just got to step back, haven't you, and just take a second and just talk to them.
And it's like asking that why, and that's why I say about the fact that I was always so curious as a child, because and it rings true now as an adult. I always ask the question why. Like, okay, cool, they're shouting, why are they shouting?
It's like creating isolation in secondary schools, and then we send them to isolation, and then they come back out into the classroom again. Isolation, come back. Is anyone actually talking to them about why?
Circle.
And sometimes and I know, like you say, they're stretched, I get that. But if we keep repeating the same pattern, 100%. We're never going to change.
And I suppose they're a lot more stretched at the larger scale schools. Definitely are going to be more stretched, and that was the beauty about St Luke's. Although, for what we wanted, I suppose it weren't good enough for our needs, because you need to get something yourself out of working, a sense of pride, a sense of impact and achievement, in order to be happy. But St Luke's, they definitely were doing it somewhat better because they are smaller than the bigger schools.
Yeah.
So that's why I stayed there for 10 years.
Yeah.
And I was also determined when I got there, they tried to close the school down, requires improvement, inadequate. And I was one of 3 staff members that kind of lasted from inadequate to good at Ofsted. And that was always the goal of mine. I actually really wanted to help the school turn.
Yeah.
So that was something I was extremely proud of. And St Luke's is in so much of a better place.
I was going to ask, I didn't know much about them actually.
Yeah, so 10 years ago it was completely different.
Yeah.
To what it is now. They've got good at Ofsted, which is very difficult to do as an SEMH school because of all of the traumas and different things that are just going on. It's very complicated, just the dynamics and them social dynamics for the children that are struggling within themselves and they're struggling to communicate, struggling to get on with each other at times. It's a real big mixed match, and it's almost a giant puzzle to try and get it.
Yeah.
But when Judith came in, I think she definitely got it right.
Yeah.
And that's why they got good at Ofsted.
Yeah.
And I almost felt like I'd helped them get there. So now actually my time to do something different was there, ready to go.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's when we joined up, obviously, with Lou. And over to you, Lou.
To you.
Yeah, so kind of my sort of background is somewhere in between. I think Mike and Simone's, kind of listening to both of theirs just now, kind of like listening to Mike's, obviously extreme one way, listening to Simone's obviously a different pathway the other way. I wasn't suited to school at all, really, and I think it wasn't till year 5, year 6, and we spoke before the podcast about like being dyslexic and stuff like that in school, but before that it wasn't like I wasn't like almost like diagnosed. If you know what I mean, they wasn't paying attention to it, so I just kind of like felt like a bit like a failure in school, if you know what I mean. So it was almost like I remember thinking in my head the amount of times when I was in primary school, how can I not get this? Why don't I understand this work? Why don't it go in?
Yeah.
And I remember going home and remember having homework and it being, I remember speaking to like my parents and stuff like that and them saying like, it will come, it will click. And I was like, when? Because I'm in class.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. And and I remember like the amount of times it would be, right, and then I'd become maybe disruptive because it was an easier option for me to, because I never used to understand the work.
Yeah.
So I was going through primary school and I never used to get it. So I used to sit there, and then because I wasn't probably engaged and actually invested in the lesson, then I used to get bored. And then when I used to get bored, my mind started to wander.
Yeah.
And then I'm in another place.
Yeah.
And then they would go, oh, he's maybe he's not doing the right thing. And then you might have to, you miss a lunch break. But the lunch break is probably the thing I actually look forward to the most about school.
Yeah.
Seeing my friends playing football. And I think kind of like we spoke about in Stride is we speak about the one thing now, and we kind of speak to all of our students about finding their one thing in life that gives them a purpose.
Yeah.
And we spoke about at Stride, we saying you haven't got to be amazing in all these lessons. You haven't got to be amazing in science, French, German, whatever it is, geography. The maths teacher's just got to be good at maths. The bricklayer's just got to be good at laying bricks. I was in school and I remember the amount of times I'll be sat in lesson and I remember thinking this ain't going in, but when I go and play at break time at football, I'm going to rip it up. I'm going to go to town on everyone.
Yeah.
Because that was my passion, was football, and I was obsessed with football. And I remember the amount of times the teachers would be telling me in school, Lou, you need to knuckle down, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to concentrate. And then they'd ask you the question, like, what do you want to be when you're older? And I'd be like, I want to be a footballer. Like, there's nothing else. I remember speaking when I went in year 7, I said, instead of going to French, instead of going to cooking, instead of going to geography, can I go down to the sports hall and kick a ball around? That's what I want to do in my career. I want to get better. And they laughed at me. And they was like, Lewis, you need to do something else. No one becomes a footballer. Everyone wants to become a footballer. so yeah, I think it was till year 5, year 6, and then they started to say like, yeah, you know, it's dyslexia, it's holding him back, and they started to manage me in a different way. Then I went to secondary school, and all that just kind of got wiped again. It almost started again. It was almost like forgot about. It was like, wow, yeah, I was like starting to get somewhere in year 6. I was like, oh, they're trying to teach me in different ways now. And then I went to secondary school, and it just kind of reset. And it was like, if you don't get the work, you're kind of put in another class. You're away from your friends. You're with other students. You might be like, and like, you know, the kids are brutal, right? So they're like, oh, you're in bottom set. You're in this. You're in that. And like, makes you feel like, oh, why am I not
you
the same?
feel crap about yourself.
Yeah, you feel bad about yourself,
Yeah.
right? And then that's when the behaviour starts to kick in. That's when
Yeah.
it's easier to, you know, I used to find it boring. The only time I used to have fun at school was messing around at lunchtime, messing around in between lessons and stuff, and playing football.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So school was a struggle, and that obviously impacted my behaviour. I found school really, really tricky. My friends kept me at school. My friends did. And playing football.
Yeah.
That was it. And I left school. I got zero grades. I think I picked up 1 little grade in PE. I didn't really try, and to be honest, I didn't even look. I remember my GCSE results now. I'm pretty sure they're still in the bottom drawer at my mum's house. I didn't even open them. I don't even know to this day what I got, because I didn't want to open them.
No.
I didn't want to see what was inside of it, because
It cemented how you feel about yourself. I'm
yeah,
sure.
I've been all the way
Piece of
through.
paper.
Yeah, a bit of
Yeah.
paper, and I remember my dad was really good with me, because my dad was like, Lou, no grades will ever determine what you want to become. You want to become a footballer, you got to put work in. You want to do this, you got to put the work in. You got to be hard working. So I went to college, and I managed to get into college because this is kind of similar to Mike, really. The football coach that was running the course, and I just got let go by Swindon, which killed me. So I just got released from Swindon. The Swindon coach said I was too small. You're not going to be a footballer. And it kind of, I went into like a bit of a bad state, because football was my release. And I put all my eggs in that basket, and I thought it's kind of fed into what the school said.
Yeah.
Luckily, I started, you know, playing with my friends and that, and my dad was really good with me and stuff, and he's like, nah, we'll find you a scholarship to go to college and stuff, and he backed me. And I went to college, and the college guy said, like, listen, you haven't got the grades to get in, you're going to have to do extra hours, you're going to have to do overtime massively, I'm going to give you an opportunity. And I just remember, like, I said to my partner now and stuff, like, I've never, like that, I was so obsessed to becoming a footballer. It was relentless. I would train, because I thought, if I don't make it, I've been told my whole school life, I've got nothing else I can fall back on. So I would be ripping into people. I would doing extras every single day. I was just obsessed, and luckily I managed to become. I signed my first pro deal at 18.
Wow.
And I was technically a pro for like 4 years.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I was like really chuffed and stuff like that, but it's and then yeah, kind of the joke we have, me and Mike now, of like, Mike took me under his wing, which is kind of true in a lot of ways, because, you know, football is such a hard industry, and kind of what Simone was saying, a bit like dancing, it's like, it's so cutthroat. And I kind of come out of the football industry, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to go, and I met Mike through playing football, and he said, like, Lou, come in and get involved with these kids. And I thought I could kind of relate to them with their kind of attitude towards school. I was like, well, yeah, do you know what, I can actually get on board with that, because I felt the same emotions. And Mike got me in, and I was doing a little bit of PE kind of work and cover, and just bonding and trying to be a positive person around the kids, and that ended up ending, unfortunately, which I was gutted about.
There was only a year's funding.
Yeah,
okay.
There was a year's funding. I was gutted, and I thought, this is the sort of thing I want to do. It kind of gave me it sparked the flame in my belly.
Yeah.
It's not just football now. I can do something else. And I went and worked in I worked for another mentoring company for a bit, which I worked there for about 2 years, and it was like the same kind of feelings I had towards the end of sort of some other places where I worked, is I wanted to give more. I felt like I could give more. I felt like I could benefit the kids more, so I stepped away. I worked in another school, Springfields, down in Calne for a bit. And then that's when the opportunity come to get back at St Luke's. There was a school football match, and Mike and the deputy head at St Luke's come down and took the team, and I was running the school team down there, and he was like, "What are you working down here for?" I was like, "Well, just kind of still trying to help," and they said, "Well, come across to our place and get back involved."
Agent Jones said, I
Yeah.
can sort a little deal here, let's get him across.
The transfer market opened, and I jumped at the chance to be back at St Luke's because I loved it the first time, and then that's when me and Mike was in there, and we was working with these kids all the time, and we was battling, we was fighting fires. It was quite funny at times because we were both on the radio, and it was like, right, top floor, Lewis, Mike, go, and we'd be sprinting up to the top floor, and we'd be, separating fights and stuff, but we always had the dream of mentoring and helping the kids further.
Yeah.
So we kind of one day sat down and kind of had a discussion, and then we was like, right, sod it, we're going to go to the school and say, right, we're kind of leaving because we're going to set up our own thing. And it was a bit of a scary stage.
We were just honest with them. We said, look, this is what we're passionate about doing. We actually said to them, look, we don't want to leave, but we are going to create our own business, so it's up to you. We'll give you first refusal, which is what we did, and it worked out well because they signed us pretty much straight away. But then the downside of that was, a baby company, first contract, that's keeping you afloat now. We still had to do what they wanted us to do. And then we realised, okay, so the reason we set up the company was so we could make a difference, but then we were still kind of doing the same pastoral work. So, and just gradually, over the span of about 2 years, we were part-time, started doing what we wanted to do in other schools, so at least we felt fulfilled there, which grew the company and the name, the brand a little bit. And then, eventually, it kind of came to an end with them and allowed us to kind of fully go for it, really. Which was scary, but it was exactly what we needed.
We needed that fear factor in we talk about like kind of in our bellies, really, because it was like we both had full-time comfy roles at St Luke's, and we were very thought highly of there and stuff, and to go to the head teacher and say, listen, we're just going to step away. I won't repeat what the deputy head teacher said we had big of, but he kind of, he both said, like, you guys are crazy, in one sense. He said, I wish I had the courage that you had to do that. And step away and just, and we was like, it was scary. Our first year, what was it,
8 months?
First 8 months, we didn't get paid. There was a problem with the money, and, that causes stress on its own. So we were still volunteers. Volunteers,
saying you're a volunteer.
We were going into work, and essentially, we were just believing, like you were saying before the podcast, about you got this passion, you got this dream, and you just kind of going in every day, and you just, you're in that limbo of, is it going to come off? Is it going to pay off?
You've got to keep going.
And that's what we
I spent a deposit on a house that I was looking to buy to run the company, essentially. To keep it afloat for 8 months. And it was kind of squeaky bum time, I suppose, because that deposit then had been eaten up, and then thankfully the invoices started coming in and actually being paid. I
think what really helped was kind of we had each other in that moment where it was tough, and I think where we had each other, we was on the phone, and we was calling each other, and we still are the same. Like, we still non-stop FaceTime and all sorts. Like, it's
random times.
We was in the curry house at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, like planning things. Because we both were footballers at the time, both at Hungerford together, so we'd talk business on the way to football and training, then you'd lock in, train, talk on the way back, and just constantly were planning things at random times.
It was relentless, and I think...
But luckily we had football money coming in to kind of support the families and stuff.
We were lucky in that sense, but I think what really helped us was we had each other, and I think it was hard because we was going in every day like, when is this money going to land? Because we're doing a good job, and everything's gone the way we wanted to go, but kind of we need this back in now, and it did come eventually, and now we're kind of sitting here like, obviously it's going well, and Simone's come on board and took it to the next level, and we've got staff that's come, like mentors, like I could go through it more, and they've all just taken it to the next level and
Brilliant.
Yeah,
made the vision come true, really.
Yeah, we started obviously, they were just doing the mentoring, not just, but they were doing the mentoring. We were going into schools, obviously initially started with St Luke's, and then we grew our portfolio quite quickly to help a lot of schools in Swindon. And then when did you guys come to me with the idea for the AP? We were sat around, we're having a meeting one day, and you're like, I want to create a mini school.
Yeah.
Alright, Simone.
You probably thought we were crazy.
We got the idea, now you just make it
said-
happen.
We said, what paperwork do we need? How much reading do we need to do?
Yeah. We kind of like, me and Mike are kind of similar in a lot of ways in the sense of like, and it's kind of quite good to have that because we kind of waffle a lot about dreams and goals and flying and all sorts, like, and I think, you know, with Simone on board, she kind of helps out bring them visions to life.
Yeah.
And it must be an absolute nightmare, Simone, at times because we are probably a nightmare, but you know, it's the balance, isn't it, of everyone's got their strengths and
Yes. So last it was, I remember doing all of the paperwork for the AP. So we went to go to a school, a Peru in Dagenham. Someone put us in contact with a school in Dagenham. They were Peru, so we went to go have a look. And that was probably December time. And then in January, we began the process of becoming an AP. And then we had our first students in April of last year. So
okay, that's what I was going to ask. The timeline of
so
everything.
April of last year. So we haven't been an AP for that long, and we still do our mentoring. So we still are in schools. We do work on site, and we also do kind of group work and one-to-one mentoring still. So that's still part of our package that we offer. Obviously, a big change was offering the AP.
Yeah.
And we started off with 2 kids in the April.
Yeah.
By the end of the school year, we had 13.
That's brilliant.
And then obviously this school year we've got 20 at the moment, and they are still coming. We've obviously some kids go back to school placements, and it's never changing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about how it all kind of works. So some of them it's like a temporary placement for them.
Yeah, so it's a real range. We have students who have been permanently excluded from school and are under kind of the local authority kind of governance.
Yeah.
They come to us, and the idea for them is that we're like a respite almost to help them develop some resilience, have confidence, self-esteem. We help them, and then they go back into into a school placement, wherever that may be, if it's a specialist school or if it's a mainstream school.
Yeah.
That can get extended for however long they need them to be with us for. Then we've got some kids who have EHCPs, and so they are with us for a longer period of time. We are just a placement that suits them at the moment, while we're still working obviously with kind of that therapeutic side, mentoring side. And then we have schools who commission us to work alongside them, so they still attend their school, and we have them for 12 hours, 17 hours depending on how it works.
Okay.
And we kind of sit alongside, and it's almost a help before, in case before them needing a PECS, so we can help them before it gets to that point. And then parents do sometimes want to refer them themselves, but they need local funding and that kind of stuff before they can come to us. So we have a real mix of how our kids come to us, really, which is lovely, and so we can help a wide range, and it's not just kids that have been PECs that just need that support and that respite, but also kids that and all our kids benefit from us massively. The kids that we had in the last school year, the council have said they haven't heard anything negative come out of their school experiences. They've all gone back into a school placement and have been successful.
That's brilliant.
Which for these kids who have been PECs, they've been suspended, they're continuously having behavioural issues and struggling to maintain in schools, to have been with us for a couple of terms, or maybe even just one term at this point, to then go into a school placement and have lasted maybe a school year, and they're successful, and they are found an engagement with school again. Maybe not a love for school again, but an engagement for school again. And
they're surviving in their own way, really. And they've kind of gone in there, and we, kind of going back to it, we always speak about the one thing, and kind of when you hear it, and they like look up to like the mentors and stuff like that, because we know what they're feeling.
Mm.
You know what they're feeling in their moments, and it's like, you know, you could be okay if you learn that one skill.
Yeah.
You have the manners, you have the hard work, you get up early, you're kind to people, you show that respect. That's not a GCSE. There's no
No.
GCSE. There's no test there, but
No.
you've been kind, you've been hardworking, you've been on time, and you've learnt that one skill, whether that's barbering, whether that's bricklaying, whether that's whatever it is, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Like, and it just gives them that reassurance.
It's so important because at school you're conditioned to think you should be an all-rounder, good at everything
Mhm.
academic. And
Yeah.
what you were talking about really resonated with me, because I, getting my GCSE results, I was hyperventilating into a brown paper bag, so I
Yeah.
did really badly. Apart from English, because that's my,
Yeah.
you know, that was my strong point. But everything else,
Yeah,
pretty much failed at.
yeah,
Went to college, it was a different story, because I managed to get on and do a GMVQ strict BTEC in business studies. I managed to get on for that to get like an equivalent of
yeah,
A levels. But and then I wanted to learn then, so it was something I was interested in. But at school you're made to learn things that you don't really care about. So why would you? How can you
Exactly.
apply yourself?
Yeah.
So I thought I was thick.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But now I've realised the most important, and I talk about it in the podcast, people listening probably bored me saying it, but like how important it is to just resonate and get on with people. Being
Yeah.
a people person goes above everything else.
Yeah.
You can relate and get on with people. That's the most important thing. And, you know, we're all making a living out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
almost.
yeah, of course.
I just want to go back to when Simone gave us the news that the 13 children were doing really well. It literally teared us up.
Yeah,
I can
We were
imagine.
so proud.
What an achievement.
yeah,
Because go back to when it was just a dream.
Yeah.
When we was talking about the things that we wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
We decided like April to the summer, that's almost going to be a bit of a test pilot to
Yeah.
then see how we knew it was going to be a test, but
Yeah.
we've got a vision, we're going to trial it, and then over the summer we can adapt a load of things and give more structure, which is what we've done this year. But yeah, to get that feedback after what for us was actually just really a trial pilot
Yeah.
stage was
Yeah.
beautiful. And actually quite difficult as well, because we really wanted to go back and see the kids and say we're so proud of you,
Yeah.
Mm.
but at the same time we didn't want to disrupt them from you know the great work that they're doing and kind of then derail them, so to speak. So
Yeah.
actually we reached out to the council and said, how do we best play this, because we do want to go and high five, well done, super proud of you guys, because they have done it, and that's what it comes down to. They're the ones that are doing and believing in themselves and believing in what we're telling them and how we're trying to help them along their own journey. But for us, that's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
when we go back to that planning stage and think, I remember I literally had to pick my own childhood apart and say to myself, because people that knew me as a child and then know me now, they literally go, Mike, it's a miracle how you're not in prison or dead. Like, what happened? How did you go from A to B? So I had to really unpick things and think, what did my mentors do for me?
Yeah.
Because now I want to replicate that, and I actually want to get into the nitty gritty of how did he empower me? What was he saying to me? Like, his demeanour, how was it so calm? He never shouted and screamed at me. And then when I really broke it down, and I suppose the crux of what we tried to do, actually, when I look back, comes from what he did for me.
Yeah.
To the things of helping him understand that just because you've made mistakes and got permanently excluded, sometimes it's a one-off violent incident, sometimes it's just accumulation of disruptive behaviour and they're getting it wrong. Doesn't make you a bad person.
No.
It means you're making a mistake.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, they've got to understand that.
Yeah.
And look, we're not judging you. I made plenty of mistakes. I've got chucked out a load of schools.
Yeah.
So helping them understand that, then they can start to feel, oh, okay, well, Mike's quite successful. He's a nice person now. And seeing is believing.
Yeah.
So it's being honest with them. And I don't
Yeah.
think teachers are quite robotic and
Yeah.
they don't have the time to sit down with children and say, yeah, I play football in here or there. They just might talk about the score and then right back onto work.
Back onto
And they don't
task.
have time to actually get to know them
No.
and talk about their own. It's almost considered unprofessional to talk about your own personal experience as a teacher, and they just see you as a robot. And for us actually to empower them, they need to understand where you come from,
Yeah.
why have I decided to do this job,
Yeah.
so that they can trust us, and especially the types of children we have. Some of them do have trust issues, and rightly so, because some of them go through some really bad stuff. And for me, empowering them is the most important thing, and getting them to believe in themselves and understand sometimes the school is one system for millions of children as well,
Yeah.
and one system in the whole world can't suit everybody.
No.
So actually, there's a bit of an issue. How much has school evolved in the last 100 years? It virtually hasn't.
It's
Computers
archaic.
have come in, but it's kind of the same things, and we're not evolving.
No.
School isn't really evolving at all in that sense, or a lot slower rate than the rest of the world. You know, look at the technology that we have these days. So it's just helping them understand that. And I say to them as well, I say, look, I'm not telling you all of these problems about school so we can moan about school. I very much believe, like, if you can see a problem, you can now navigate the problem.
Yeah.
Rather than just be frustrated and not really understand why you're frustrated.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work was around that, and understand, as Lou said, my whole career has come through sport.
Yeah.
And I've become very successful. Yeah, the teamwork, dealing with difficult under pressure situations, and managing those on the football pitch, off the football pitch, and now I can do that. You know, when you can learn to control your emotions and even other people around you, now you're thinking kind of that's a managerial skill.
Yeah.
So it's helping them understand those things and why it is important to manage your emotions.
Hugely.
And give them a pathway.
Yeah.
And that really is one of the bulk of the things we try and do.
Yeah.
And also when you can ignite a bit of a passion in them, and every child is good at one thing at least.
Of course.
You don't, as you said, you don't have to be good at every subject.
No.
There is a lot of pressure because every teacher is under a lot of pressure for you to be good at my subject.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's helping them understand, why does school make you feel that way?
Yeah.
I can understand that now. I understand why all this pressure's coming my way. Now I can go, okay, almost ignore it and block that out. I understand why Mrs. screaming at me about geography, because she gets in trouble if her grades aren't good. And when you understand that, now I go, I don't have to absorb that pressure.
No.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I'm going to park that geography there. I'm going to be a historian. I'm going to be, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it's really helping them understand that, because, and a lot of parents don't even see it like that. They just get, I remember foster parents and parents go, Mike, why are you always getting negative phone calls? Like, you're not good at this, you're behind on this, you're behind on that. And not once did I ever get a phone call when I was breaking records for long distance running, being in every sports team that there was. I never once got a phone call, he's the best athlete we've ever had.
Yeah.
Because they don't have the time to do that.
No.
So it's helping them understand all of those things and really empowering them to be what they want to be.
Yeah.
And the best thing they want. And when they're passionate about that one subject, actually they will go do some research about it.
Yeah.
And it also help them, kind of start thinking in a business sense, like, why can't they own their own business? As a child, I thought I was stupid, kind of as Lou said.
Yeah.
And that's how the teachers made me feel.
Yeah.
So I never once dreamed that I'd own two businesses.
Yeah.
And, we wouldn't really be able to do this without Simone's skill set.
Yeah.
But with our vision, you can then hire someone that can do that.
Yeah.
And become a team. And that's where teamwork,
Your football background helps
yeah,
with that. And
understand. The striker needs a defender. Who needs
Yeah.
a goalkeeper.
Yeah, yeah.
And we've all got a different role to play.
Yeah.
And on that, like, our team that we've now built around us, like, I must say, are incredible.
Yeah.
Like, we have built such an amazing team of people to support our students.
Yeah.
Every one of them has such a different skill set to bring to it. And when we hire, it's very much, we don't care, like, what it is your skill set is in terms of, like, what can you bring to these kids, as long as you bring something that's unique to yourself and you're passionate about, so these kids see that you've got a real passion and a real burning inside you for the thing that you love, and therefore they will see the same
That's
thing.
the thing that you just role modelling, aren't you?
Yeah.
They need to see it,
Yeah.
and you just do your thing, and then they see it, and then they
100%,
hopefully copy it.
I'm saying, like, see, we get kind of pinned as a bit like a sporty provision, but actually half the mentors aren't sporty.
Yeah.
We've got some amazing mentors who their skill sets are art or dance or more that kind of that talking therapy thing. We've got one of our mentors who's a Thrive practitioner, for example, and that side of stuff that she does is incredible. And like, obviously that's quite sporty, but they all bring such a unique skill set to our team.
Yeah.
And therefore every child who has individual needs, they're all being met in different ways because our skill set and our team is so varied.
Yeah.
It's not just that one size fits all,
That's why we call it Stride 360,
Mm-hmm.
and like we wanted that holistic approach,
Well-rounded, yeah.
well-rounded, and like that's why like we speak quite openly to the kids. Like I'll say, like, Simone is her skill set's so different to mine. Don't give it like my skill set's so different to Simone's. You know, like we're just very open with the kids, and like Simone was saying, our team is amazing because we've got mentors that are so different to me and Mike.
Yeah.
And they will come from a different background, different walk of life, but they can hit them students that need that sort of pathway. And I think we're blessed really because we are kind of we have got such a great team and stuff, and we get the opportunity to sit down with these kids, and we get to know them, and we get to give them that energy and time, because I remember even going back to a little bit when I was at school, I couldn't sit and do an English test, but if you told me to write down every stat of a FIFA football team, I would do every single one.
Yeah.
And I sit down with some of these kids now, and you know, there's some of them speak about Pokemon, and you can't get them to do a maths test, or you can't get them to do maybe an English test, which we don't get them to do anyway in school, I'm saying. But if you sit down and speak to Pokemon, they will tell you every single detail.
I name 1,000 of them.
And you want to tell me this kid isn't intelligent? You want to tell me this kid isn't, he's not bright?
They can hyper focus on stuff, and they know the ins and outs of it, don't they?
In my mind, I'm like, you're a genius, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a genius. Like, you know way more about that than I ever know.
Yeah.
That's your passion.
Yeah.
Now you just got to find your path to harness that and find your career.
Yeah, so everything we do is so bespoke to every child that we've got.
I was going to say, so if they come in and say, I'm interested in this, and you don't do it, I'm sure you would tailor it.
Yeah, 100%.
And get whoever you need in.
Yeah, you know, our young person who loves Pokemon, majority of his lessons to engage him, because we recognise that, it's not fair to make the child sit there and stress out about work, because we're just mirroring what a school did, which is what they struggled with, which is why they're with us in the first place. So rather than force them into an environment, we're re-engaging them in a way that's right for them, so that they can at least learn in an environment that's comfortable and safe for them to learn in.
Yeah.
So most of the lessons that Maria, the teacher, plans is around Pokemon.
Yeah.
Because at least then he's sat and engaged.
Yeah.
He's learning how to then engage in education in a way that suits him, rather than it based on how we think we should do it like this, so therefore that's how you should do it. That's the system doesn't work.
Yeah.
Let's take your interest. So we've got a sort of range, no two kids' interests are exactly the same. So Minecraft, one kid likes Hot Wheels. So everything we do is bespoke and individualised to them.
Yeah.
So that they can then learn in an environment that's safe for them.
Yeah.
And then eventually they'll learn how to sit and engage, and if they can't sit, how to ask for help, how to find that, get a bit of a voice themselves to be able to say, I need this, or I can I have this, or have a fidget, and they start learning how to help themselves as well, and then
regulate themselves.
How to regulate themselves, and then they have a chance of going back into an environment that, and because we can't ignore that the education system is needed, because you do need to be in some kind of education, but it's learning how the education system can suit you, rather than how you fit yourself to suit the education system.
Yeah, absolutely.
How to conform to it, actually how does the system work for you?
Yeah.
How to get the best out of it.
I always say to kids as well when they're with me, like they're talking about mistakes they've made and stuff, I'm like, how old do you think you are when your brain's fully developed? And they're like, I don't know, I'm like 25.
Yeah.
And then they're like, and even just that is enough to go, And so you have to teach those things and empower them. I talk to kids about the brain all the time, the amygdala firing up, prefrontal cortex, but we call them different names, so that they can, resonate with it. It could be Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, whatever they want to do is what we do.
Yeah.
So just teaching about the brain and what happens, and learning about anger as well. And I'm not supposed to be angry. Yeah, you are. You're allowed to be angry. Talk about how you express that. You're a human. You're supposed to feel everything.
Yeah.
So talking all about that. So one of the things I did recently was about I've done like mood cards, and then they put them into the good pile and the bad pile, and then I'm like, how do you feel about that? Yeah, I think that's right. And then I go, no, and then I flip it over, and the bad pile is the difficult feeling. It's not a bad feeling. If we call it a bad feeling, we're going to lean away from it, not going to lean into it. So kids can condition to think that these feelings are bad feelings. They're all feelings. We're supposed to feel the feels, but it's how you feel them. How we feel them. So emotional literacy is just not taught enough in schools. I was reading something the other day about in Denmark, they're doing a whole subject around empathy. Kids don't know what empathy means. I taught it in year 4 as a TA. No one knows what empathy is.
Every child that comes to us comes and gets a little tour of the dome, because that's where we operate from, the swim dome. And we're lucky because we've got 2 viewing galleries that are our classrooms. And the thing we always tell them is, dude, you're going to get angry at some point. We all get angry. I get angry. But what does that look like? If you're really frustrated with the work, or another child's done something that irritated you, you can walk on. We've got 3 astro pitches that are all confined within the dome, and we can see you. So just go for a walk, dude. It's not a problem to be angry.
Yeah.
I get angry all the time.
Yeah.
Lou pees me off. We
Yeah.
have a little bit of a joke. Oh,
Yeah.
I upset Simone earlier because I farted. You make him laugh. have a bit of a laugh with they're laughing. You go,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But you know, Simone might just need a walk because it smells around here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you just help them understand. So I said, I would really happy if you get upset and you take a walk and you go sit down over there,
Yeah.
relax. You can lay down on the AstroTurf. It's actually quite sensory. You can kind of almost play with the rubber bits in between
Nice.
the AstroTurf. So don't eat it though.
Yeah.
Mike does.
Yeah.
That's
then,
why I can't stand
patches.
it.
and actually, for a bit of fun and humour, all of a sudden, I was like, honestly, so what do you do if you get upset when you come? Like, as I'm dropping them home. When you get upset, because you will at some point, what do? I can just go for a walk. Remember, you can.
Yeah.
So I can't let you play football down there all the time, because then people in less are going to be upset with, you know,
Yeah.
I'm letting you play football. But you can go for a walk.
It's just taking charge, isn't it, for
Take
yourself?
5 minutes.
Yeah.
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 I
And
kind of like speak to him, like Mike was saying as well, like we're not afraid, because like a background and Mike's background and Simone's background and St Luke's and mine and sporting environments and stuff like this, it's like just not afraid if it like we do a football match and one of the kids loses his cool and he loses his temper, you know, we see it as learning.
Yeah.
We're never emotional with the kids.
Yeah.
So we speak to them about it, and we always use a theme of our sessions. So like we call it like a personal development session. We always use a theme, and say it was like controlling emotions. Me and Mike spoke about it before. It's like we use the one with like the kettle with the kids.
Yeah.
It's like when you boil a kettle, what happens is the steam starts to boil at the top. You need to get the steam out. If you hold all the steam inside,
Yeah.
then it's going to explode.
Yeah.
And I said it's almost like linking that to their controlling emotion. It's okay that you're angry. It's okay that you lost your call and you called Mike so-and-so at football because he didn't pass. Should have passed, but didn't pass. All right? It's okay. That's absolutely fine. But next time, how can we learn from that?
Yeah.
How could you have maybe been a little bit... How could you have controlled your emotions in that situation? It's maybe a little bit better before it got to that stage. I could have maybe gone for a run. I could have went for a little lap around the dome. I could have done some press-ups with Mike in the gym or something like that.
Being reflective, isn't
Being
it?
reflective. And it's like, it's okay you've messed up.
Yeah.
You know, little fist bump, we go again. We
Yeah.
don't feel anything lesser,
Yeah.
We're all, you know, it's all learning, mate. That's why we're here. We're here to help you with
But
this.
you need male role models. Some of these kids might not have a dad at home or see their dad a lot. And so having male role models, often in primary schools, the year 6 teachers are male.
Yeah.
And
Mine was.
kids
I still remember
need
Mr.
that.
Cole.
Yeah, they are at Leiden.
You need that balance, don't you?
Yeah.
We love to kind of turn negatives into positives as well.
Yeah.
'Cause that's what I did my whole life. And I say, like, you're angry, you get that built up steam, and you're like, okay, how can I use this in a positive way? They can have a race, get that extra power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's adrenaline, isn't it? So
sometimes
use it.
we time them. Got a little like 5-6-year-old.
Yeah.
He sprints a lap.
Yeah.
Like, because you're angry, you might beat your record now. Now I've given him a direction. That can he go and he's sprinting around? Like, time. Don't go too early. Let me get the timer up.
It's like Roadrunner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Roadrunner.
By the time he sprinted his
Yeah.
lap, he's forgot what he was angry about. Number one, he's kind of helped himself regulate, and sometimes go, no, let me go again. I want to try and beat it.
But it's a tactic I use.
Yeah.
I actually use it, you know,
Yeah.
we amount of times, like, and this is maybe before Simone come in and kind of saved the day in a lot of ways, because we'd be on the laptop, FaceTiming each other at 2 in. It would be the simplest thing.
Yeah.
And we're like, why won't it act like...
Yeah.
That still happens now, by the way.
That still happens now. And we like to speak to the kids about it, like, and say, like, listen, Lewis couldn't even find the on button to his laptop. Like, he was that stressed. So, just going away, I'll go for it, like, you ask my partner now, like, amount of times I'll just go for it, like, go for a run. I'll go for it. I put music on, go for a run, 20 minutes, round the block, come back. I get the task so easy then, because it just...
Stepped away.
It's right in front of my face.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But amount of times we'd be on and we'd be stressing and we'd be asking our partners, like, can you help with this? And we're stressing out.
Yeah.
We'd have half an hour break. We'd come back and we're like, oh, we got it. That was easy.
It's like storming around the house if I'm annoyed and I get myself hooked on the door or something like that.
Yeah.
God's sake.
Yeah, what's happening to me?
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah.
It's because you're stressed.
Now it's raining. Yeah.
I'm hooked on the door all the time. If I'm wearing a poncho, my girls are like, for God's sake, man, I'm just always hooking myself on the door. It's just like...
And it's showing these kids like we have the same, we deal with the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, it's unique to you as a child and you have all these emotions and they stop at a certain age and then you learn to deal with them. So actually, we have them and we make mistakes too.
Yeah.
So we will always, if we've made a mistake, we will take accountability for that.
Yeah. Perfection does not exist.
Yeah.
No.
You know.
We're all work in progress and we're all learning, aren't we?
Exactly, and it's being a human being for these kids, because actually that's what these kids need, that's what these kids are part of this world, and they need to know that they're going to get things wrong.
Yeah.
And it's okay, but how do we make sure that doesn't happen again? Or if it doesn't happen again, cool, but what learning are we taking from all these things? And it's...
I always try and say to kids as well, it's alright to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you can be quite uptight sometimes, and like, I said to a kid the other day, he drops it on the floor, he's like, ah, and I was just like, just laugh.
Yeah.
It's alright.
Yeah.
Just laugh. You've got to laugh at yourself.
Exactly.
It's so important that something has to be taught sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a bit
Which
of
is
a
something
one.
we're great at. A lot of our mentors are great at. Kind of, they'll trip over, or go into a roly poly and go, hiya!
Yeah.
Who saw me fall over? I didn't fall. What you lying about?
Styled it out.
I think humour can be used
massively.
Yeah.
Because you know, they're coming in with anxiety, anger, so they're going to be serious.
Yeah.
So I'll just be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
So what you said.
Yeah.
You act a lot younger than you are.
Yeah, I do.
We're the same.
Yeah.
Our whole team pretty much are like that.
Yeah.
I've got a kid I'm working with at the moment, and he got Star of the Week the other day because he's speaking up in class and being really silly and just coming out of himself, because he came in with me and he was quite serious, and then I just started being me, and then he was like, oh, she's weird like me, and then he started being weird, and then he started doing it in class, and they said he's like got loads of confidence, and he's being like this and being like that. So when I walk in the room, I shout his name, the whole class turns around, and I go, come on mate, let's go. And then he's just like,
he's on board then.
and then he's like, she's like, sort of like allowing yourself to be weird, because if she's being weird, she's an adult.
They feel safe though, because they see you put yourself out there. Like, they look up to you and they go, wow, if they're willing to put themselves out there and be embarrassed, I want to be like them. And it's like showing them the way. Like we do it now, like the amount of times we're in the car and it's like, I don't know, I'll be driving or whatever it was, and the amount of times it's like someone will say, you know, the whole 6-7 thing.
Oh my god.
At the moment.
At the moment, it's been going on for about a year.
It's been going on for about a year. Yeah. So all the kids like bantering about that and stuff. So we got all these. We had to lock all of our stuff up at the dome to keep it safe. So we put all the codes as like 6-7.
Yeah.
So the kids are going along.
Got to change that now, mate.
Yeah, everyone knows the codes now. But it's quite funny because the kids. I remember one of the days, like I told the kids, like, "Oh, Lewis, what's the code? I want to get this game out."
Yeah.
And I was like, "All right, can you do me a favour? Can you unlock all the cages?"
Yeah.
And like do like a bit of responsibility. And he's like, "Yeah. What's the code to this one?" I was like, "So the first number's 6, second one's 7." And he's like looking at me like strange. And then I was like, gone across to the next cage. What's the code to this one? I was like, first one's 6, second one's 7. And he's like, Lewis, are you joking me? And he's like, what's the third one? I was like, first one's 6. And he's like joking, like, Lewis, come on, mate. But they come to school to see Mike, see Simone, see Will, Kieran, Taylor, all of our, Leah, all of them. Maria's like, they come to see us as well. Like, kids
they bounce off your personality, they feed off it.
We're
It's
all
great.
weird and wonderful.
Yeah.
We tell them, I've got ADHD, dyslexic, don't worry guys, like, look at us now, we're happy. Like, I think ADHD is my superpower. I can keep going. Like, people, when they say, like, why don't you stop? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm getting a bit older, I'm slowing down a bit, but
pulling
like, in order to get where we've got, it was working kind of your 9 to 5 at school, then we was doing football, then we're planning in the evening up until 2 in the morning. The only reason I could do that was because of my ADHD. That allowed me to drive everything to get to where we are. And we celebrate that. Like, all weird and wonderful, all different. I don't want us all to be white sheep, all the same.
No.
That's boring.
Yeah.
And that's something that we always try and make them, just, you can be yourself.
And also how you dress as well, I think is really important. So I go into schools like this, I don't want to go in looking all smart, because I need to get on a level with kids. I don't want to go, oh, here's someone else coming to assess me. You know, so like dressing down a bit sporty. And
can
then
relate to it.
We're quite casual. Obviously the boys wear the tracksuits, and we have some of the mentors do as well. We've also got a uniform, but you just wear what makes you feel comfortable. Because part of my psychology fashion degree, the only part that's useful in my job now is, you know, how you look is how you present, and like, you know, it's your first impression to the world is how you present yourself. And if you want to come across as like someone relatable, then you have to look relatable. You can't be in a suit and tie if you're trying to engage a 14-year-old who, you know, is playing Roblox. Like, maybe that's not cool. I guess like not what kids are doing nowadays, but you know, that's student. You
need to get on their level. 100%.
So
So tell me, what ages do you take?
our youngest currently is 5.
Yeah.
and our oldest is 17.
Okay.
So we've got the whole range.
So you take all the way up to
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
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 And then what do you offer? Like, obviously you've got the pictures, but you do core subjects
so
as well.
we do an education session a day, and that is the kind of the course English, Maths and PSHE.
Yeah.
I know normally that would be science, but for our lot actually PSHE is really important.
Yeah.
That kind of that curriculum.
Yeah.
Everything is very adaptable, very bespoke, very up to the curriculum leads. So Maria and Leah are the ones who kind of plan our curriculum. So we did, the older group that we had, they did the Stride Barkery. So they created a business, and they actually sold dog treats. So I'm not sure if it's on our Facebook, but
I have been looking.
Yeah, they but literally from product design, so the apprentice, Mike with Blood Sugar, so from all the way to business idea to actually selling the products and making profit, and every kid made a profit and they got to keep that profit. So that was the older group. So that's something that we do. So it's like that was incorporating all those English, Maths and science skills, kind of functional skills. And then this term Maria's been doing kind of the rainforest seeds, germination, is that the word? Yeah. So I'll call something random then. They've been doing a lot of, Maria's got a younger group, so she's been doing a lot of like big feelings and looking at where things lie in the body and that kind of stuff. Yeah, look good. Yeah. So, and then, we do that, and then we do personal development sessions, which is more the mentoring, more what the child wants to do. So if it is they've got particular interest in something, that's when we have a time to do that. If we feel like there's an intervention needed there, or a particular subject that they're struggling with, so it could be that a student is struggling with social skills and healthy relationships with peers, it might be we spend more time looking at that particular as an area.
Yeah.
Or if it's around confidence, or we've got a young person who wants to be a car cleaner, so doing a lot of car cleaning.
Bringing mine
growing
something in my car at the moment and he's sorting
in those sessions, so that the personal development is completely up to them really.
Yeah.
Or if we feel like there's something that the student needs to work on, we'll intertwine into that session.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, if you want someone to come and do
no, 100%, no, that's a ready conversation that we've had actually about having
some people come do some stuff.
Yeah.
100%.
Therapeutic. It'd be great. Yeah, I think it would be really good. I'd love to come and have a look whenever you'll have me as well.
Whenever you want, just drop me an email and you can come in. We are very much open door.
Yeah.
Come and see what we're doing, because we're so proud of this, what we've built really.
You should be. That's brilliant. I love hearing about it all. It's really exciting. Yeah, really good. Anything else you want to cover today?
I don't know. It's not often. I don't have many more words to say. We have a little thing.
Talked about your fartings. We've got that in. That's great.
Close to fighting. So something as I came to my end of my football career, I still had loads of energy, but my knees were kind of giving up on me. Although I could still run, I came away because I wanted to spend some time with my own family.
Yeah.
Because that everything, there's a sacrifice, and we talk about that with children. You know, I sacrificed quite a lot of time with my own kids. I've got three beautiful kids, and I want to spend more time with them. But I still, with my ADHD, I need to burn energy. I'm very much like that. So I slowly transitioned into jiu-jitsu in Old Town, and then somehow into MMA fighting.
Oh my God.
So
cool.
I kind of I stopped the football, but with that kind of training, you don't have to commit for the whole year. With a football contract, you're committing the whole year. So it was actually something that I ended up getting into, the jiu-jitsu and MMA. I've had about 6 MMA fights. Last March I had a championship fight. I broke my hand in my first punch, but I didn't give up, and I managed to win the fight somehow, which is all kind of still part of the mentoring. You know, the kids can see that. It was on TV and stuff, and then some of our mentoring is, why didn't I give up? All that preparation that I did beforehand, the belief I had in myself, everything I'd sacrificed, I wasn't willing to give up. Although it was extremely hard, extremely painful, I managed to push through, and then I did achieve the belt, you know. And part of the mentoring, they just don't believe, you actually broke your hand. It's like, well, you can still see because they've got bone that's misplaced and will never return. And I always believe that the kids, the discipline that can be learned through martial arts, and when we get kids that can't control their emotions, actually, I learn to control my own emotions through martial arts. Because I was very much, as I said, aggressive as a child. As soon as someone came and cornered me, and was being aggressive verbally to me, my first reaction was to go, okay, I'm going to punch you before you punch me, almost like a fearful dog that snaps at you first.
Yeah.
That was very much me, but actually through training, I've had a couple of confrontations where I've just gone, look, back up, mate. I'm not interested in fighting you because I could really hurt you. I'm a trained fighter. I don't want to be involved in this nonsense.
Yeah.
And actually de-escalated the situation. So the first fight I de-escalated, I think I was 31 years old. Every other time I end up in a bit of a scrap or things like that.
Yeah.
So actually it was through fighting, training to fight, you go, actually I don't want to be involved in fighting on the street or nonsense. I do all of that in the gym.
Yeah.
And we shake hands and cuddle afterwards. So that's something else that I do. I've actually helped quite a few children actually into whether it be jiu-jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, and it just gives them a bit of a purpose as well.
Yeah.
It gives them something to do, stay out of trouble, because when you're bored on the streets, there's no more youth clubs like there was back in my day. Very few and far between what the offering is now. So it actually gives them something to do after school and just something to build towards that's not necessarily academic. And then they learn to meet new people, make new friends that also have a purpose as well, and you can grow together. You've got the same interest. So I'm a very big advocate of martial arts now.
Yeah, definitely.
I have retired from MMA now. I still do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
My goal is to get a black belt. All 3 of my children do jiu-jitsu.
Do they?
Yeah. Trying to get Simone to do some jiu-jitsu.
I've driven past it. I know where it is. Yeah, in
Old
Old Town. Yeah.
When are you going to go into controlling your fighting?
Greens.
But we're so keen to get other people in Swindon involved in what we're doing.
Yeah.
Because the more we can, Mike knows very good connections already, but the
Yeah.
more connections we can give to our kids, the better. You know,
Yeah.
As if any other industries out there that that have a niche that we can show these kids that they can access those things as well.
Yeah.
You know,
Whether it
more,
be day visits,
yeah.
whether it be kind of, for the older ones, some kind of practical work that they can do, or just come and see, work experience.
Yeah, positive role models we can get around these kids, the better.
Yeah.
The way we see
Definitely.
it. Like Simone said, the door's kind of always open. We want to expose these kids to as much positive stuff as possible. To give them the best opportunity of going on to do well. So
and show them that they were capable of things.
Yeah.
Regardless of what their EHCP says or what their PECS paperwork says or any of these things.
Nothing defines them.
Nothing defines them, and they're
about your mindset.
And the door is open to them regardless of what it is that has gone on previously. The doors are open, and if we can just have as many people advocate for them and tell them that they are capable of these things, the more capable people, that was really badly worded, but
I know exactly what you mean. But you want to get to them now because you only have to look at people that are in prison.
Yeah.
ADHD, dyslexic,
foster system,
foster
adoption.
system. So it's like you can see the route, can't you? That some people are in.
Because any child can achieve what they want to achieve. It's just having the right people in their corner.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally agree.
And giving them the opportunities and giving them the tools to be able to achieve those things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll finish there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you, Don.